Moving forward with Natasha Evans, Director of Customer Success, EMEA region, and Global Customer Programs at Salesloft. Natasha has spent the last 9 years helping sales professionals use technology to increase their revenue. She led customer success for LinkedIn's UK Talent Solutions business, and now she leads Salesloft's customer success team, as well as their global customer programs team. She will walk us through scaling customer success whilst delivering on your promise with a combination of technology, the right programs, and genuine passion for the role, ensuring every customer never feels alone. Natasha, we're looking forward to listening to you.
Hi everyone, my name is Natasha Evans and I lead our EMEA customer success team as well as our global customer programs team at Salesloft. I'm thrilled to be able to talk to you all today, and the reason that we're all here is to talk a little bit about how do we scale customer success whilst making sure that we're still delivering on our promise to our customers and still delivering on an incredible customer experience. So the first thing that I want to start talking about today is just to be honest with ourselves as a customer success organization. In customer success, this is the $1 million question. It's something that I'm sure every company and every customer success organization is trying to figure out. And I can imagine that everybody is taking a totally different approach into how they're thinking about solving for it. So today, my aim is to give you guys a little sneak peek into how we think about this and what we're offering to try and solve for this $1 million question at Salesloft. The first thing that I want to talk to you guys a little bit is about the why behind scaling. Why is it important? Now, I'm sure that everybody watching knows this already, but let's just make sure we're all on the same page. As a customer success leader, I want to make sure that we're helping every single customer. I want to make all of them successful in how they're using our software, but I can't go and hire 5,000 customer success managers as our organization grows. It's just not a viable business model. And so in comes that challenge of how do I really do this, but in a scalable manner? How do I make sure I'm still delivering on that experience that I promise and that I want for my customers? And so the first place that we're going to start is thinking about prioritization. So rather than but first coffee, which honestly is the case before we do anything in my household, what I'm putting to you today is before you can do anything, you have to first prioritize. Before you can scale, you've really got to figure out what is it that I'm scaling. And so when it comes to prioritizing, you've got to think about which of your customers might be a higher priority for you based on how much they spend, the health in how they're adopting what it is that they've bought, or their risk. It could be based on their growth potential. It could be based on their name and their logo and its importance to you. Whatever that is, you have to figure this piece out first. So then you've solved for, okay, well, where am I potentially going to over-index on customer success resource? And then where is it that I need to be looking at scale? So before you do anything, you have to figure out where you're going to prioritize. Before we go into, okay, how do we scale? The first thing that I really want to reference about scale is there is this perception that scale is just for how you support your long tail of customers, so your smaller customers, or the customers that aren't your top priority. But for me, scale is more than that. Scale is, yes, how do I support all of these smaller customers in a really great way? But it's also, how do I support every single customer? How do I make sure that my customer success managers who are supporting those top priority customers are really freed up with the time to spend on the higher impact activities that is going to allow our customers to really see value from our platform? So scale comes in multiple shapes and sizes, and how you're thinking about scaling your customer success team and your offering really should apply to every single customer across your business, whether they are the top priorities or whether they're some of your smaller customers. Okay, so we know we want to scale. we've thought about where are our priority customers, and that we know that we want to scale across all of our customers, no matter their size. And remember, the goal is we want to deliver value to everyone. I personally want to reduce the reactive elements that my CSMs are maybe having to do on some of the higher priority accounts, so they can spend time on higher impact activities. So the next piece is, okay, what exactly are we scaling? What activities, what level of service? And so my advice to you guys would be to ask yourself the following questions. The first one is, what are your customers telling you they want from you or they need to be successful? And then the second question, and potentially even more importantly, is what do you think they need to be most successful? Because interestingly, the answers won't always be the same. Sometimes customers don't quite know what they need, or depending on their maturity working with you, depending on their current circumstances, they might think that all they need right now are those reactive elements and that quick bit of help. But actually, as customer success managers, leaders, revenue leaders, you know that the more proactive activities really will help them see long-term success in their organization. So 2 different questions. What does the customer ask for? What does the customer think they need to be most successful? And then what do you as a business think they need to be most successful? Now, just in the spirit of sharing, for us, for Salesloft, the answer to those questions were these 5 things. So firstly, our customers are telling us they want help as soon as possible. If they are stuck, if one of their sales reps is stuck, they want to be able to get help and get to a resolution ASAP. They also told us that sometimes they don't want to go back and forth over email. They don't want to read resources. They want to speak live to a person to get help. We know that they want to be able to upskill and to learn. So thinking about, how do I further my knowledge of your platform? How do I use it in a more commercial manner? How do I learn what other people are doing to get tips and tricks? They want to know how they're doing. What are they using well? What could they be doing differently? They want our guidance. And number 5, they want to hear from us. They don't always want to be the ones that reach out and ask for things. They want us to proactively go and help them and offer that guidance. So for you guys, the answers to those 2 questions might be different. But for us, these were the 5 things that we landed on, thinking about, okay, how do we scale this? What do we need to deliver? And so I'm going to peel back the curtain a little bit and show you guys how we decided to go and deliver on those 5 things, in the hope it gives you guys some ideas on how you can scale the answers to your 2 questions. So how we decided to deliver on those 5 things, well, out of this was born our global customer programs offering. Together, the whole offering looks like this that you're seeing on the screen now, but I'm actually going to talk you through how did we specifically hit home on each of those 5 points that I've mentioned. So again, remembering it's what we think they need and also what the customers are asking for. But this is kind of our holistic, scalable offering that is offered to every single customer, no matter their size, maturity, health, growth opportunity. Everybody has access to this program or this suite of resources. So I'm going to talk you through how these 5 things hit home on those 5 different points, just in a little bit more detail. So the first thing I mentioned to you guys is our customers want help. And if they're stuck, they want to get help quickly. And so one of the things that we offer here is we have a really robust self-help center. If a customer needs help and they want to get help quickly, like, of course they can email and speak to somebody in the team. They can go to our support team. But actually, we thought if we built out a very robust self-help center, that is the quickest way for a customer to get an answer to their problem. And so one of a few things they can do is they can go to this help center, they can search for articles, they can read themselves. And if they still can't find the answer, there is a link in there to be able to create a case with our support team. So if they want help and they want help quickly, they can come here. Fantastic. Sometimes though, what you want help with is a tiny bit more complex, or you don't want to read through an article. You really just want to be able to speak to a person live. Now, just being honest with you guys, this is one of the most difficult pieces of the CSM world to scale out across every single customer. The way that we have gone about solving this is by offering twice or 3 times a day live office hours. And so what that looks like to the customer is, hey, Mr. Customer, any given day of the working week, no matter if you work in EMEA or in the US, you can join an office hour and speak live with a member of the customer success team. Now, for us, it really helps us scale in regards to delivery, because we need to then man 2 to 3 hours of the day on these office hours, and it's all done virtually over Zoom. But for a customer, the offering is incredible, because any given day of the week, they can guarantee to speak live to a member of my team. So this so far has been one of our most successful offerings to date. And if anybody wants to talk a little bit more offline in and around how we did that and some more specifics, then I'm so happy to do that. The third point that we had talked about is customers want to be able to go and upskill themselves in their own time. They want to be able to learn more about how could I be getting more out of your platform? And they want to be able to do that at their own pace. Like, of course, there are benefits to delivering bespoke training sessions, but those are at a set date and a set time. There is a lot of turnover in use of the products and the services that I'm sure you guys sell. And so you really want to think about, how can anybody go and learn something new, or pick up some tricks, or speak to a customer in their own time and in and around a time that suits them in their calendar. And so we have a couple of things that we do here. We run live topical webinars every single month. We host anywhere between 5 and 10 of those webinars. And again, if you think about the scalability piece of that versus the offering to a customer, from a customer success team standpoint, yes, we need to man and we need to be able to build content for and deliver 5 to 10 webinars in a month. But actually, we can get anywhere from 5 to 200 people attending these webinars. So when it comes to that kind of scalability piece, it's fantastic. To a customer, the fact that they can come on and choose from 5 to 10 different topics every single month that they could learn about, they can approach live, they can ask questions. It's really a fantastic offering. Now, the webinars that we run, we then, of course, record them, as I'm sure this will be recorded, and we can host them on our site so that it's repeatable content that we can drive our customers to time and time again. So if our customers want to learn about a topic, or they want to get help, but they weren't able to make that particular time or date, or maybe it was 3 months ago, we have a recording that we can send to that customer that delivers that training to them at any time. We also have an incredible library, I'll call it, of videos, pre-recorded videos. Some of them are bite-sized, some of them are longer. So again, there's this whole kind of like on-demand piece that we have at our customers' fingertips, so that they can go in and they can get help and they can learn anytime. Okay. So the fourth thing that we talked about is customers want to know how they're doing. They want to know, what am I doing really well in using your software or your platform? And they want to know, if I tweaked a couple of things, how could I be better? And again, this is a really difficult thing to be able to scale as a customer success organization. I'm not going to say that we have absolutely nailed this one just yet, but I'm going to share with you one of the things that we're trying to do. Now, as CS or revenue leaders, I'm sure you guys are all familiar with the terms of a business review. Delivering a business review verbally to every customer is no easy feat, and definitely not one of the high impact activities that's easily scalable. And so what we're trying to do as a team is we're trying to condense a business review into a 1-page document that we know we can easily deliver and put in front of our customers at scale. And so we're using a pretty cool new technology called Matic to hook up to our back-end database and reporting and everything, so it can spurt out lots of these one pages for us. And so this is very much a work in progress for our team right now, just being, totally transparent. And this is one of the things that we're thinking about delivering to solve for that piece while still being scalable for my customer success team. And then the last thing that I'd said in my kind of like 5 points that we'd come up with is our customers want to hear from us. Surprise, surprise, right? They want that proactive piece. They don't want to have a really reactive relationship where they come and ask you questions and you respond. They want to hear from us. And so no surprise here. We drink our own champagne for the Brits, or we drink our own Kool-Aid if you guys are sitting watching in the States. And we use our own platform to do this. It makes absolute sense. We think about what is our repeatable, proactive touch point process that we want to deliver for every single customer, no matter their size. And we build it into what in Salesloft is called a cadence. So a number of touch points over a number of days or months or throughout the year that we see as being the bare minimum that every single customer should receive. And we have teams of people who will execute on that across all of our customer base. And so I'm going to give you a little insight into how we do this and some of these kind of like repeatable touch points and these repeatable processes that we've built in our own platform and that we use for our own customers. We have tons of these, right? So I've picked kind of my favorites to talk you guys through today. We have a process or a cadence for what we call post onboarding or post implementation. So in my world, the implementation or the onboarding piece is owned by a completely separate team, and they come over to me and to my team after they have graduated from that implementation. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure from that point that they are taken over by my team, no matter the size of the customer, no matter where they sit on your priority matrix that we talked about at the start, they all need to get a certain level of content, a certain level of touch points, and a certain level of love as a Salesloft customer. So we've built out a 180-day, I think, post onboarding cadence that has a number of touch points. I think the first couple are every 2 weeks, and then it kind of spans out to monthly, so that we're making sure we're delivering a welcome, we're delivering resources, we're getting them up to speed and setting them up for success really from day one. The second cadence, honestly, doesn't have a name, but I've called it the customer love cadence because I think it sits really well. And this is something that I get each of the CSMs in my team to deliver for their customer base. Every time they get a new point of contact or a new stakeholder at their customers, they're going to add them all into this customer love cadence, as I've called it. And what they do is every 2 weeks, at a bare minimum, they make sure that they are pushing some really great value add content to those stakeholders. So every 2 weeks, they'll talk about what from this customer program offering is coming up that they think they would be interested in. What webinars are we running? What customer meetups are happening? And they also talk about any other notable events like product releases. So it's a really great kind of digest that goes to every single one of their customers in a really scalable way every 2 weeks. So for the CSM team, that's a scalable activity. For the customer, they are never not hearing from us. They're always hearing about things that they need to know about that are relevant to their world. The third thing is we have like processes, or again, we call it cadences, based on customers' health and their usage of our platform. So if you have a product, a platform, a service that you can bucket into how your customers are using it, then you can deliver messages to those customers in a really scalable way through something like this. So for example, if you have customers who just aren't logging in or aren't using your platform, you could have a process that they follow. Or if they're using it, but actually they could be doing this one thing much better, you could be delivering content to them through that process. So again, really scalable and a really good way of thinking about touching a bucket of customers in a really relevant way with relevant messaging based on how they're using your platform, but very easy for your customer success team to deliver. We also have like processes and cadences around potential growth opportunities where we see real risk, for referrals, and all sorts of things. Really, the world is your oyster here. One other way that you could look at using these cadences and this process is in and around rhythms that you have with your customers. So we have one for a QBR rhythm to make sure that we are never missing booking a QBR with our customers. But again, you could have this for all sorts of different reasons. I have some customers who segment their customer base into tiers. So tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5. And what they've built out is a minimum offering, a minimum touch points at each one of those tiers. And they'd have a process designed for each one. So again, really smart way of thinking about it. So you guys have heard a little bit about our 5 touch points, our 5 points that we're really trying to solve for when it comes to what we're scaling across all of our customer base. And remember, we're all thinking about those 2 questions right at the start. What does your customer tell you they need? And what do you think they need? And that's how I came up with my 5 key offerings. And then I talked to you guys through how we've solved for that at Salesloft. So a good chunk of that is through our global customer programs offering, our on-demand resources. But then I also talked to you guys through some new stuff that we're trialing in and around delivery of information and business reviews in a really scalable way, as well as how we use our own platform and our own product to be able to deliver really relevant messages in a timely manner to all of our customers. Now, is it enough to just have and offer all of these incredible things? Will your customers just automatically go there and use them and hurrah, we've solved this $1 million question right at the start? No, it's certainly not that easy. My advice to you guys would be you figure out how you offer all that stuff first, right? You figure out what it is you want to scale and you figure out how you're going to deliver it. But then you've really got to think about how are you going to position that offering to your customers so that they see the value in using this, what you think is a scalable approach. For me, it's really all in the pitch. It's in how you position this to the customer, in how it's in their best interest to leverage one of these on-demand resources, or to go to an office hour rather than emailing a person, or to sign up to a webinar or watch a recording versus, requesting to have a one-on-one training session with somebody. So really don't underestimate that part. You've got to put some thought into the positioning piece of it. And you have to think about the positioning not only to the customer, but to your teams internally, because it's really your customer success, your sales team, your customer marketing team. It's those guys that are going to be positioning that to your customers day in, day out. So we really do have to have everybody singing from the same hymn sheet, getting my words tied, in regards to the value that's going to add to your customers. And it's not a case of telling your customers once and they get it. It's absolutely reinforcing the behavior at every single opportunity. So every time your team are running a business review, or they're on a monthly sync, or every time you've got a communication going in front of the customer, really reinforcing that message of all of these other things that are at their fingertips that they could be using and the benefit to them of doing that. And honestly, one of my best tips would be go and partner with your marketing team here. They're great at the phrasing and they can really help you put some power behind that promotional piece. Okay, so to recap, when it comes to scaling, when it comes to still delivering on an incredible experience for your customers, don't be too hard on yourselves. It is literally the thing that every customer success or every revenue team is thinking about solving for. I talked to you guys through prioritize first, so you know what you've got to scale, asking yourselves those 2 questions, and then thinking about what is it that you want to deliver before you think about the how. Once you know how you're going to deliver that scalable offering, really don't underestimate the pitch and how you're going to position that to your customers at every single opportunity. I really hope that this session has given you some insight and some things to think about. And then what we're going to do at this point is we're going to go and take some questions, and I'm going to hand it over to my team for live Q&A.